witches!
Hi, hello, welcome back to True Crime. Today we're going to be learning about some fucked up shit.
Oh, okay. I don't even know. I'm excited to learn about some fucked up shit.
Suspense is building. Without further ado.
Fucked up
In
shit.
the quiet... Shit's about to get real. In the quiet suburbs of Salem, Oregon, the late 1960s were marked by a string of disappearances. Young women vanished without a trace until their bodies began to surface. Posed, mutilated, photographed. The man behind these crimes was Jerry Brudos, a husband, a father, and a killer whose obsessions would help shape the future of criminal profiling.
I hate this already.
My headphones died, so if you hear yourself, I'm so sorry. This is the story of how one man's fetish turned fatal, and how his case transformed psychology into a weapon of investigation. Dun, dun, dun. Wait, what is the... These are their stories. Plum plum.
Oh my gosh, I keep hearing myself laugh. It's cracking me up.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll turn it down, and I will, sit right at the mic.
Okay.
So you tell me if I'm too loud, or if you can hear me, or if you can't hear me.
I can hear you. You sound...
Can you hear yourself?
No.
Am I breathing into the mic?
No, you're not breathing into the mic. I can only hear myself if I talk really loud.
Don't talk. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Okay, anyways. The origins of the killer. Jerry Brudos was born in 1939 in Webster, South Dakota. From the beginning, he was unwanted. His mother, Marie, had hope for a daughter and made no effort to hide her disappointment. She emotionally abused Jerry, doted on his older brother, and created a household steeped in rejection and control. At age 5, Jerry found a pair of high heels in a junkyard. What the fuck did I just say? A junkyard? A junkyard. I'm from the Midwest. I need to sound like it. He brought them home, mesmerized by these wonderful little high heels. His mother found them and burned them. But by that time, the damage was already done. That moment sparked a lifelong obsession with women's shoes, lingerie, and eventually control. As he grew older, Brudos' fantasies had darkened. He began stealing shoes, stalking women, and fantasizing about domination. These weren't just urges, they were rehearsals. He later formed a close attachment to a neighborhood woman who resembled his mother in age, suggesting a subconscious attempt to rewrite maternal rejection. But the damage was already embedded at that point. This kind of gives off 50 Shades of Grey vibes with Christian beating a brown-haired woman because they look just like his mother.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It's a little creepy, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm also going to talk about a lot of psychology kind of stuff. So if speaking about mental health or anything like that is a trigger. Sorry. Trigger warning.
Trigger warning.
So psychologists had later diagnosed Brudos with schizophrenia, but his behavior fits into several psychological frameworks. From a psychodynamic perspective, his mother's rejection created deep resentment towards women. His fetish had become a symbolic attempt to reclaim power over the feminine ideal he was denied. Behavioral conditioning played a role too. Pleasure and punishment had become intertwined, reinforcing his compulsions. The shoes weren't just objects, they were emotional triggers. He also exhibited signs of fetishistic and paraphilic disorders, where sexual gratification was tied to objects, body parts, and control. Brudos kept severed feet in his freezer to model stolen shoes.
Gross.
Right? He preserved breasts from victims and used them as trophies. Through the lens of attachment theory, Brudos' inability to form secure emotional bonds led him to objectify women. reducing them to trophies and tools for his fantasies. An archival quote was said, and it says, "I like to take pictures of pretty girls. I like shoes. I like feet." These weren't just preferences, they were compulsions. FBI profiler John Douglas later described Brudos as a textbook case of paraphilic escalation, noting that his fantasies grew darker as his need for control had intensified. Ugh. And by the way, when I say emotional triggers, this is at a time where women only wore heels. We're talking about like the 40s and the 50s, where that was a staple in every woman's like outfit choice of the day. A pair of heels. You were never seen without a pair of heels, and if you were a degenerate woman, a teenager. But even then, everyone had heels. So not only was he triggered by every single fucking woman he saw because everybody was wearing fucking heels at that time, there was no control. Between January 1968 and April 1969, Brudos murdered 4 women: Linda Slauson, Jan Whitney, Karen Sprinker, and Sharon Wood. He attempted to abduct at least 2 others. Each victim was lured to his home or car, strangled, and then photographed. He posed their bodies, dressed them in stolen lingerie, and engaged in necrophilia. He dismembered 3 of them post-mortem. Brudos kept trophies: feet, breasts, and photographs. He stored the body parts in his garage freezer and obviously used them to relive his crimes or to model his heels. Or his stolen heels, I should say. And one chilling detail, he used a mirror to photograph himself with the corpses, creating a grotesque tableau of possession and fantasy.
Gross.
Imagine this. Linda Sally was 22. She loved poetry and had just started a new job downtown. Karen Sprinker was a college... Wait, Saley. Did I spell that right? That does not sound right. Slauson. Okay. I might have got the last name incorrect a few times, so I'm sorry. Damn. Karen Springer was a college student, bright, curious, with a passion for biology. These women weren't just names in a file. They were daughters, friends, and dreamers. And their lives were stolen by someone who saw them only as objects in his fantasy. Men. That's why Brandy's lesbian.
Yeah, that's the reason. This guy, he's the one.
This one right here, she wrote about him as a child and was like, nope, I like women. Oh, man. Anyways, Brudos' case became a cornerstone for the FBI's behavioral science unit. Oh, I got another job I could go to. Founded in the 1970s, agents like John Douglas and Robert Ressler interviewed Brudos in prison, dissecting his motives, rituals, and fantasies. They realized that killers like Brudos followed psychological scripts. Their crimes weren't random, they were rehearsed, escalated, and emotionally driven. This led to the development of behavioral profiling, a tool that could predict traits of unknown offenders based on crime scene evidence. Brudos helped find the difference between modus operandi, how a crime is committed, and signature behavior, or the emotional imprint left behind. His posing of bodies, his shoe fetish, his trophy collection, these were the signatures. They revealed his psychological needs. Brudos' obsession with shoes and feet wasn't just random. In folklore, the foot often symbolized movement, autonomy, and power. Severing it becomes a symbolic act of domination, halting the victim's agency. His use of mirrors and posing corpses evokes mythic imagery, the mirror as a portal, a boundary between reality and fantasy. Like Narcissus, Brudos was entranced not by the person, but by the reflection of his own desire. So let me tell you, this case was a pivotal change to how people are profiled today. Like, I think before, like, they were like, oh, they look like this. They're definitely the person. Or that one looks sketchy. Now they're actually using motives and behavior and actual, maybe not at this time, backed science to find these people before, like, they actually happen. And at the time, a lot of these were not like his crimes, but like a lot of the investigators were reactive instead of proactive. So, this also kind of changed the way profiling occurred. So, before Brudos, profiling was reactive. It explained crimes after they had happened. But his case had showed that early behaviors, fetish theft, stalking, fantasy rehearsal, were all red flags in a grand scheme of things. This insight had actually helped launch the VICAP, or the Violent Criminal Apprehension Program, in 1985. It tracks behavioral patterns across jurisdictions, allowing investigators to flag potential serial offenders before they escalate. It probably still has a lot of flaws, but I like that they're being reactive, Profiling became a strategy, a way to anticipate or to intercept, to understand not just what a killer did, but why they did it and what they might do next. Brudos' case also influenced how law enforcement had approached crime scenes. His basement workshop, where he committed most of the murders, was a psychological map. The posing, the props, the photographs, they weren't just evidence, they were expressions of his fantasy. So imagine, like, as a child, your entire bedroom is like your fantasy world. Like, it's your place where you want to be. It's your bed's a dragon that you're about to ride to battle. Like, that's kind of how these guys were looking and seeing this room, I guess. So Brudos' behavioral arc, fetish, fantasy, and escalation is echoed in later cases. Dennis Rader, the BTK, what the fuck does that stand for again? BTK. Something, torture, kill.
Torture, kill, yeah.
Okay. Bind, torture, kill. Had also kept victims and had staged his victims. Ted Bundy used charm and manipulation to lure women, then enacted violent rituals. Even today, investigators track early signs like voyeurism, fetish theft, and fantasy journals. These aren't just quirks. Sometimes they're breadcrumbs on a path toward violence. History repeats itself.
Yeah, it does.
Ugh.
And that's why, like, trauma-informed care and all of the things that we do in the early childhood world are so important.
Yeah. And just the fact that they I don't know, it's just crazy that this one case flipped how everything else is done.
Right.
And I don't want to say that it was like major in behaviorism, because it probably wasn't, but that was also around the time that behaviorism started becoming a thing, and like a grandfather of behavior, like all of these things started popping up and started becoming more and more prevalent. That probably helped evoke like these changes and all of that.
Yeah.
Jerry Brudos had pled guilty to 3 counts of first-degree murder and received 3 consecutive life sentences. He died of liver cancer in 2006 at the Oregon State Penitentiary. His legacy lives on, though, not in infamy alone, but in the tools investigators now use to stop killers before they complete their strike. His case has taught us that fantasy can be a blueprint, that obsession often leaves clues, and that psychology, when wielded wisely, can illuminate even the darkest corners of human behavior. My favorite. And honestly, we're drawn to stories like Brudos is because it forces us to confront the uncomfortable truths. So here's a question for all those to consider: what fantasies do we normalize without realizing their potential to distort?
BDSM
Mm.
and escapism, like
Right.
dark romance novels.
Haunting Adeline.
Yeah, like, whoa.
Hunting Adeline.
That one.
All of those things.
Yikes.
Blood play, man, I'm telling you. And in trying to understand the mind of a killer, how do we protect our own? So, next time you think about it, you should consider those things because you never quite fucking know. But it's, I don't know, it's really cool how, I mean, whether or not like there are symbolic moments in his story, or if there's any like humanizing the victims or even humanizing him in a way, I honestly think it's crazy how like one little event can be such a huge catalyst for things later on, like behavior, like learning how to profile. The fact that like this brought in like folklore and mysticism in a way, and it also shows like early signs of what child abuse can do. And who knows, what if he like shoes, like heels like that, and maybe he was like, maybe at that time he like was gay and like he didn't realize it, and
or trans.
Yeah. Well, and there was also a time in history when men were the only ones who wore heels because it made them look more masculine. So like it just depends on the era, but it's just the fact that his mother is the reason for all of this is insane. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying what he did was correct or anything, but I also am saying that like what he did, the
psychology behind it is weird.
Yeah, like yes, you can blame him because he did it, but also like if you look back into the mind and his childhood and his formative years when you are the most vulnerable with how things happen.
Yep.
Like there's So that is the story of Jerry Brudos, whatever.
Wow.
That's also known as the shoe fetish killer or the lust killer.
Gross.
Listen, I asked multiple people, I was like, give me your top 5 like true crime history or true crime anything. And then not only did I get a giant list, but I got some good ones too. So
I like it. I was the next one. Given a new podcast to listen to. I have not started listening to it yet, but apparently it's called People Are the Worst, and it's like these two twins who cover like lesser known true crime stories. I'm excited to get into it.
That would be fun. I love that.
Yeah. So
if you have any true crime, whether it's recent, old, or ancient, like what is it?
Lizzie Borden,
who killed what?
Lizzie Borden.
Yeah, like not necessarily ancient like that, but
Elizabeth Bathory.
Yeah, that one right there. Or the Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
Things like that. Let us know I'd love to cover it.
Yeah.
She don't get a choice. I'd love to cover it. But until next time.
Bye.